Welcome to the Hornets Hivecast, presented by Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates, the official eye, ear, nose, and throat care provider of the Charlotte Hornets. Here's your host, Sam Farber.
Now let's welcome Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations, Jeff Peterson, back here to the Hornets Hivecast. Welcome once again.
Thank you, Sam.
Congrats on your first draft now in charge. How did it go? Was the sequence everything you imagined it would be in that chair for the first time?
Yeah, it was an incredible moment. Just excited. I have a great group of people around me. The rest of the front office, our medical and performance team, coaching staff, they even gave some input on the guys that we selected. So just very, very thankful and fortunate that the group, we had some goals at the beginning of the night and we were able to accomplish it.
Let's talk about the players. Let's begin with the first-round pick, Tijan Salon, 6th overall. What did you like about him? What made him the right player at number 6 for the Charlotte Hornets?
Yeah, when you look at Tijan, he's the youngest player in the draft, so we would like to think that he's going to continue to get better. But the only way he gets better is if he works, and he is a maniacal worker. He loves the process. He's about all the right things. His approach. He's incredibly resilient, so really excited about him from that standpoint. I'll start on the defensive end. There's some versatility there. He can guard on the perimeter a bit, and of course his size, he's going to be able to guard, on the interior as well. He flies around though. He plays with a ton of energy. He's getting deflections, steals. So I think he's just scratching the surface. But when you talk about someone being able to switch and play, guard multiple positions, he's incredibly gifted in that space. Offensively, he has some versatility to him as well. He can push the ball and transition, make a play for his teammates. There's some promise from a shooting standpoint. I think he's going to, I know he's going to work, so I think he'll continue to prove in that element as well. And then just even his ability to move without the ball and, set screens, roll, put pressure on the rim, things like that.
You mentioned a couple of times there the energy and the size that he already has, as well as the youth, which gives him plenty of room to grow. When you imagine him maybe 3-4 years down the line and what he could become with this young core you have, what are some of the archetypes that you have in mind, or maybe player examples that you see in his future?
Yeah, that's where I really get excited, because what's he going to look like when he's 22, 23, 24? And Sam, I don't want to put a limit on him. I never will. He's going to be as good as he wants to be. He has all the intangibles. The positional size, the athleticism, his body's going to take a huge jump over these next few years. I was watching him in the press conference. He barely has hair on his chin. Like he's just a young player, and he's excited about getting better. So I don't want to put a limit on him. I have no idea. I just know he's gonna maximize himself and hopefully turn into something special.
Recognizing you don't want to put limits, but he's 18, he's entering the NBA, and there's a hope with a healthy roster that this team is poised to make a big jump right now. What are some of the things you think he can contribute right away stepping into the Hornets this season?
Yeah, right away, I think just his energy and effort on the defensive end. He is, not too many guys at his size and age, can move that way in terms of just being in the right place at the right time, off the ball. He's very good in terms of communicating on that back line and kind of directing traffic. So that, that's something you can't teach, right? Just the effort and level of competitiveness. I think that's going to be an area where he can, contribute right away.
Second round, you grab KJ Simpson out of Colorado. Excellent point guard there. 3 seasons. He was an all-conference honoree every time, and you basically couldn't have had one shining moment from the NCAA tournament without his exploits there in the big dance. What did you like about him? What made him the right guy at 42?
Yeah, similar to Tijan. Again, they're cut from the same cloth. They absolutely love the process. They love the game. They love to get better. Both of them, again, are just maniacal workers, and KJ falls into that bucket as well. He's hit some adversity throughout his career, and I love that. I look, for that in players as well. Who is going to maybe have a potential setback, but, ultimately that doesn't keep them on the floor, right? They get back up and continue to find a way to get better. So extremely excited about just his makeup and his overall approach. And you hit on the head. He's an excellent point guard. He makes shots off the bounce. He's a leader. He can get guys involved. He's very unselfish. He can play with pace. And then defensively, he's feisty. He's competitive. He's crawling into the ball. He's getting over screens. So he does an excellent job on that end of the floor as well.
He was on a Colorado team that ended up with 3 NBA draft picks, so he knows how to play with some high-quality players. What are your expectations for him, his role, and what he can contribute in year 1?
Yeah, I think, again, just overall, I'm excited for his approach that he's going to bring in terms of just taking a day at a time. And I know I can, again, maximize myself if I put the time and the effort and just have that high level of work rate. So I know that's going to be contagious because he's a guy that will take other guys to the gym with him. So I'm really excited about that. But again, I know his competitive makeup. You can't teach that. So when he gets on the floor, that's going to be contagious as well. And then he's very unselfish. He's a good decision maker, and guys like to play with guys who pass the ball. So I think that's something that will translate immediately.
So these two have now been added into the fold. Obviously, there's a lot of work to be done between now and opening night come October. But as you look at the roster at this point in time, and obviously we're hoping for some good luck in the health department for the Charlotte Hornets, but where should expectations be for the Hornets fan base based off the addition of these two players to the core you already have? Yeah,
I think, especially with Charles and the brand of basketball that he's going to teach, I think, on a nightly basis, you're going to get a group who competes. They're going to go out there and execute whatever the game plan is. And again, I don't know how many wins that equates to or playoff runs or anything like that, but I think if we continue to just tackle the task in front of us on a nightly basis, doesn't matter if it's a Wednesday night or a TNT game, whatever it is, right? Just having that, one day at a time approach, I think the fan base will be very, very excited about what we're building here in Charlotte.
One other aspect of the draft that we were very impressed by was how you guys were a little maybe coy, not letting too many leaks out there. Tijan was a big riser up a lot of draft boards, and it seemed like you and the front office were connected to just about every other player listed on mock drafts in the top 15, except for that one. How much pride do you take in your front office's ability to identify the right guys, but also do what it takes to manipulate things as much as you can to make sure you get your guys?
Sure. I'm extremely, proud of the group for that. In the NBA, information is everything, right? So for us to be able to identify Tijan as someone who we wanted, he was in the mix a while ago, and, as the days went on and on, it was like, okay, it felt like he's the guy. For us to be able to keep that quiet says a lot about our group, so I'm very, very excited about that. We didn't know if he was going to be there at 6 or not, but we were thrilled, when he didn't get selected prior to us.
This was a draft where there was so much uncertainty, and it felt like for a team in the position the Hornets were at number 6, you very easily could get someone who was 1 or 2 or 3 on your board at your spot. Is that kind of how it felt for you guys?
That's exactly what it was. We had him right there at the top of a board. Again, just there's so many different dynamics into team building. So we didn't know what Houston or even Washington, of course San Antonio, we didn't know what they were going to do. So very, very happy that, he was at the top of our board and we were able to get him.
It was a masterclass in controlling the board and controlling the draft, at least what you can. My last question for you, and this was a big question I think a lot of people had for you coming into this role, because while you've been in draft rooms for a long time, it's never been your call at the end of the day. So we were curious, what is Jeff's type? What is the new look for the Charlotte Hornets? Is he going to prefer, players from Europe or college guys, older players, younger players? You took a little bit of both, but there are some commonalities between the two that you keep coming back to. So for fans in the future trying to gauge what Jeff's type of player is, who to expect for the Charlotte Hornets, is there an answer now?
Yeah, I would say, look, I'm always going to lean towards high character individuals, and again, those who've been through some adversity, but just who love to work, who love the process, who love the journey. Those are the types of players that I will bet on any day of my life. I'll be able to sleep at night just knowing that they're finding, they're going to try to find a way to get better. Whatever it is, they are going to be relentless in that approach.
Well, Jeff, it's going to be exciting to see them on the floor at Summer League, and then come the fall, best of luck with the remainder of putting the rest of the roster together. We look forward to talking to you right up to tip-off here for the 24-25 season.
Great. Thank you, Sam. Exciting times.
That does it for this edition of the Hornets Hivecast. Remember, the HHC is available daily wherever you get your podcasts all throughout the NBA season, with game previews every game day, reviews every day after, and in-depth interviews everywhere in between. I'm Sam Farber. It's been a pleasure and a privilege having you along, and we'll talk to you next time right here on the Hornets Hivecast.
Thank you for listening to the Hornets Hivecast, brought to you by Senta, the official eye, ear, nose, and throat care provider of the Charlotte Hornets. For more coverage, visit Hornets.com.